Hey guys, I have a true enigma to explore with you today, and it comes from one of my personal friends who just finished Rebirth. When we recently talked, the tears had not dried yet. DP's close friend asks, what the bleep is up with Zack's scene in Intermission? There are no hordes of sick people in the church at any point in Remake or Rebirth. As far as I know, there is no mention of the church being used as a hospice. Why is the reality behind Zack pure white when we could see it before when he was outside? Why does Zack think Aerith is in the church when in Rebirth she is in Elmira's house and Zack knows she's there because he spends lots of time with her there? That whole scene makes no sense whatsoever in the context of Rebirth. This question is one of the greatest and most blatant open questions, meaning it has not been solved, cresting our collective horizons. And to find holistic answer falls more along the lines of why than what. Why is Zack being shown entering Midgar and the Sector 5 church? This is the final moment, final memory of the remake era. It was the resounding recognition that Zack exists by some means past the point of his tragic last stand, that the unknown journey would continue. Some believed this memory was in the live stream due to the all-encompassing white backing. Others believed it was in some sort of Twilight mirror realm because the holy symbol was on the wall. Others still said it is exactly what it appears to be. Zack lives, and after trekking arduously to the city of Mako with his best friend in tow, he made his way to where his love was thought to be. Back in 2021, most believed that this resounding proof of Zack's continued existence by some means was why the scene was the final breath of the remake era. As one group literally said goodbye, another one says hello, and that this would be where part 2, which would come to be known as Rebirth, would pick up. And why so many sick and sorrowful are in that church when before they weren't. Most people left that to the realm of to be explained in part 2. Now, in 2025, the Rebirth era, we have answers, but none of them expound on this prodigiously emotional scene, and the lack of answers have created one of the most impenetrable mysteries of the Remake Rebirth anthology. Many people have cast this scene off as a random or not very meaningful side effect of one cosmic machination or another. It's the only seeming way for many to get all the dominoes to line up. Rebirth does not begin with Zack in Midgar. He is beyond the walls, heading towards it. And as far as we know, he is never near that church until chapter 14 of Rebirth, and he's never inside it until the end scenes. And the church that he does wake up in is not the same one as that of Intermission, as this heartwarming scene takes place in a church that does not have the holy symbol on the wall. And at no points throughout Rebirth do we ever see hordes of sick or sorrowful people in that church or flocking towards that church, nor does Rebirth end with an obvious continuation to explain how despondent people would be flocking to that church for reasons that Mr. Fair would be blind to, i.e. when he walked in at the end of Intermission, it seemed to have taken him by surprise to see so many people in such a beleaguered state. So how did they get there without him knowing that that might be what he walks into? Finally, in Rebirth, Zack interacts with a comatose Aerith many times, and he does know where she is, in Elmira's house. So why does he now believe he'll find her in the church? Beyond the potential reasons for Zack being in that church in Intermission, why is this scene the very last one of the remake era? As this will isolate the truth from all of the many fantastical but very reasonable potentials. Is this truly just random perturbation of space-time, or a micro-world dream, somewhat like the Dream Date, or Zack's hallucination? or a cast-off machination of the insane god, one of his errant worlds. All of these ideas are definitely possible, but then why would this scene be given such prominence as the final moment of the remake era, and do so many years here on Earth before we would have any context for what's going on? And truly, we do not have enough context to draw any of those conclusions. Still, compare this to the end of Remake. Why this scene is so important is obvious. In the remake era, there were many theories about what exactly is happening here, but all of the theories pertain to the importance of this scene. So it stands to reason that likewise, the one of Intermission is also meteoric. Why is the key? This scene is very important, but why? The holy symbol on the wall is the Rosetta Stone. It is a categorical indicator. Let's explore. In Remake, there was no holy symbol on the wall. This was also true of the church interiors observed in Rebirth. This makes sense because Zack's worlds appeared to be split from the Remake world, as everything that happened in Remake is reflected in Zack's journey. The world Zack wakes up in at the end also bears no holy symbol, so this is another world or timeline split from the Remake one. All of this is intuitive so far. However, in both Final Fantasy VII and the last sad scenes of Crisis Core Reunion, there is a holy symbol on the wall. Of note, Zack has never actually seen the holy symbol on the wall, as it was not there when he nearly fell on Aerith. So this cannot be his hallucination, dream world, something to that effect. As if it was a reflection of what he knows, he would not see that holy symbol. Back to the sleuthing at hand. In Rebirth, Chapter 14, we observe a Midgar without a fallen Sector 6, just like the Midgar Cloud floated over at the end of Remake. This despite stamped throughout Rebirth being a beagle, meaning that the consciousness of a world and the terra firma of a world are independent. So, a question. In the Midgar that Rufus now looks over, is there a holy symbol in the Sector 5 church? We do not know for sure, but in both Crisis Core Reunion and Final Fantasy VII, Sector 6 has not fallen. In both of those journeys, as mentioned, the holy symbol is on the wall. And consider that just as Zack entering this scene is given this extraordinary prominence, so has the state of Sector 6. Consider that in the very first trailer for Rebirth, where we found out the name of Part 2, it was revealed as Cloud and Zack were walking upon a fallen Sector 6. And consider that in the collector's edition of Rebirth, on the reverse side of the cover art is again the image of Cloud and Zack looking upon a fallen Sector 6. Why is this otherwise innocuous detail that at no point has emotional relevance to anything in Rebirth given such prominence? Because it is a categorical indicator. It tells you the nature of the world you're on, the terra firma, not the consciousness. The consciousness is represented by stamp. The health of the world is represented by the number of flowers blooming. And it stands to reason there are other categorical indicators. So it is extremely likely, considering the prominence and nature of these categorical indicators, that the Beagle world of Rebirth, the Sector 5 Church of Midgar, the Midgar that Rufus is overlooking, has a holy symbol on the wall. And this gives us our answer, not only to what is going on, but why was this scene with Zack given so much importance, the last exhale of the remake era. This scene with the pervasive white in the background, the universal symbol of the in-between when memory worlds are converging. This is the meteoric why. Worlds are converging. Zack is entering the Beagle timeline, converging with the world Cloud is on. Reunion has already begun. Worlds and memories merging. We saw this in Chapter 14 of Rebirth, when Genovaroth, who until now never had one wing, suddenly has one wing exactly as he says as worlds merge. Many people who were dead in one world and alive in another will have memories crushed together. That means humans without Cetra blood will remember being non-local, infinite, dead. The inner turmoil caused by such awareness would be impossible to describe, but perhaps near the life stream such chaos might be a touch more clear, and the life stream comes very close to the surface beneath that church. That is why so many sick and sorrowful are in that church. As a quick aside, a future video will focus on the whens, because it seems mysterious. How is a scene that can only happen after reunion has started, how does it occur before reunion? Remember the true nature of reality. We saw that all worlds exist simultaneously. You can have Destiny's Crossroads, and when Biggs and Zack are talking, occur at the same time. Time is relative to a single world, not between worlds. But that science-y fiction stuff will be saved for another video. This scene, beyond showing that Mr. Fair and Mr. Strife are very likely going to be teaming up again to take down some very big enemies. Hoo-yah! This scene is also showing us what hope and fear looks like. There's no free rides for anyone. It's not going to be a fairy tale. The chaos of this insanity is going to be felt through 4 walls on multiple planets, one of them called Earth. Part 3 is going to be one heck of a tumultuous journey. Until next time, Imagination Adventurers, I bid thee adieu.
But after the long calm, there are now the beginnings of a stir. The reunion at hand may bring joy, it may bring fear, but let us embrace whatever it brings. For they are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.